So this is how I like to trade the indexes. Everybody else, every other trader out there does what is best for them. Some people use options, some people trade the stock, and some people will trade the futures. And that's what I do. So if you're going to trade the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ or the Russell or the Dow, these can only be traded if you are trading during market hours. But if you use futures, well, then you can trade basically whenever you want, which is great for my schedule. And that's why I use the futures when I trade. Now, that being said, you have to know the different times for, the different markets, overseas, because they play into our futures. If, the market is down over there, it might make some moves in our futures. You need to know when the UK opens. You need to know when the Asian markets are trading. And you need to know when, you see these volumes come in when the US platforms open. So, I can't explain all in this one video. All the years of watching the charts and knowing specific times. But if you watch the markets long enough, you'll start to learn these different times where more volume comes in. And that's if you're trading SPY options, QQQ options. If you watch these markets long enough, you will start to see, the different times, the best times to trade them, and what works for you. So I'm going to share my screen here. I've been up very, very early this morning, and that's what I'm talking about. So my first trade on the Russell was at 3:15 in the morning. 3:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time was my first trade, and that's during the UK Open. So, that's when a lot of volume will start to come in, and I'll show you guys the technicals of the trade in a second. But $140 here is what I put together. It's not even 8 o'clock in the morning yet. I do a lot of work with our Discord group. So there's so many things that I'm doing pre-market that, is over there in the community for the green bar trading. And I'm already at my screens anyway. So, as I'm watching the markets, that's when I like to really, dive in when I have the time to do it. So, getting back to the trades here, this is the Russell. Now, the Russell broke out of this 2,110 level beautifully starting at about 2 o'clock yesterday and went all the way to the bell. A really, really sharp move up. So that was really nice to see. That was breaking out. If you watch my video from yesterday, that was breaking out of a very key area. So now in the pre-market, I'm just going to zoom in here on this for a second. The pre-market or the Globex open here, when it started up, well, we started to trade sideways. And at this point, we're between two of my key levels. So where we hit a high yesterday and where we broke out of from the day before. So that's going to be, tougher to trade. When you're in the middle of these key levels, it definitely makes it tougher to trade. And that's when I start to get into some scalp trading, which is what I did here. Now I'm going to explain to you guys why I got into each one of these trades and my thought process behind it, because I think that's really, really going to be important here in this video. Now, a lot of the futures, especially before 6 and 7 a.m., is traded on technicals, okay? So I'm watching the market here at about 3 a.m. I want to see which way the first, sort of volume comes in. And you can see here on the volume profile, if we look here, at 3 a.m., you'll see volume come in. And then at 4 a.m. For the UK Open, you'll see even more volume come in. So these are the times that I like to see overall direction of the global markets, where things might be going. So I like to just sit and wait at first. Not going to jump in at 3 a.m. Once I see we break down below VWAP, this is where I'm starting to think, okay, where can I see my first bounce for my first trade? So this takes a little bit of patience. That was going to be the low right here of the Asian trading. So a lot of times the futures, they like to come up and they like to tap these other previous areas here. And, at this point here, coming in, I'm trying to be patient and I want to get an entry that's as close to the bottom here as possible for a bounce. Now, this first trade was a really nice one. This first trade gave me about $60 of profit, and it was in a minute. It was a very quick trade. But the reason why I was looking for the bounce here was the previous lows. Got the bounce, took my profit off, it kept going, left some money on the table, but that's going to be a scalp trader. If you trade, if you scalp, you know exactly what I mean. So now on this one, very similar. So after this trade comes out, comes back up, and then it continues back down and it sets new lows during the UK trading session. Got a nice bounce, made a higher high. I wanted to get in at these previous lows. A lot of times, at 6 a.m., when more US traders come in, this is where it tries to go to, previous levels. In a hot market, you'll see a bounce. Now, in a weak market, you'll see it comes back down to these previous levels, might chop around a little bit, and then it tanks even further. So, right here, I was confident that I could see a bounce, missed my entrance, and this is where, chasing starts to come in. But I really, at this point, after I missed this by about, one tick or so, maybe I got too greedy. I was trying to keep my stop close, but I needed to get in here. Just a very strong bias here on this move up. Now I'm also watching the ES, I'm watching the NASDAQ. I see where the volume's coming in. I see the strong price action. Be a price action trader. So I was able to get in here for a small scalp. I took a small scalp and didn't hold it long for the very simple reason that I feel like I got in too high. So this trade right here wasn't my best trade, but it's still a green trade. It was still a winner. This next one here, I was waiting for the pullback and then I got long, sold a little early, but that was a nice scalp here. That was another 2-minute trade. And then I had about a 4-minute trade here off of this trend line that I drew out. So we had the first touch here that coincided with our lows, pulled back here, right there. And now I'm just watching it at this point, because 3 touches is way, way better than 2 touches. So when it broke it here and then quickly rebounded, that was my cue to get long, and then took my profit off right about at this level here. So that was a good trade. These were 4 technical trades, and that was the 140. But that's why I trade indexes using futures, because at this point of the morning, I can't trade options. The options markets aren't open. Trading stocks in this is not open for my platform until 7 a.m. If I wanted to trade the ETFs by buying stock, but at that point, there's no volume in them, and the spreads are really, really wide. So for my schedule, for when I'm looking at the screens, futures works good for me. So that's $140 here by 8 a.m. and now I'm shutting it down, exercising that mental discipline that we talk about all the time. 4 trades is already, getting close to over trading, because once you start scalping, you tend to take a little bit of more trades. So I'm happy here, stopping here, and I'll be in with our green bar trading community for the rest of the day. Just calling things out, talking to other traders, and that's it. So yeah, 140, not bad, and gonna shut it down here. Thanks for watching. As always, hit the thumbs up. I'll see you back on the next one. Take care.